The Panther tank, officially designated as the Panzerkampfwagen V Panther, was one of Nazi Germany's principal medium tanks during World War II. Developed as a direct response to the Soviet T-34, the Panther tank combined firepower, mobility, and protection in a balanced design that made it one of the most formidable tanks of the war. This comprehensive study delves into the origins, design, deployment, and legacy of the Panther tank, highlighting its significance in the broader context of armored warfare. The Panther tank's inception was rooted in the early experiences of the German Wehrmacht on the Eastern Front. The invasion of the Soviet Union in 1941, known as Operation Barbarossa, exposed the inadequacies of the existing German tank designs when faced with the Soviet T-34 and KV-1 tanks. The T-34, in particular, possessed a superior combination of armor, firepower, and mobility that outclassed the German Panzer III and Panzer IV tanks. In response, the German High Command initiated a crash development program to produce a new medium tank that could match or surpass the T-34. The development of the Panther began in earnest in late 1941, with the specifications calling for a tank with a 75mm high-velocity gun, well-sloped armor for increased protection, and a powerful engine to ensure mobility. Two companies, Daimler-Benz and MAN, were tasked with developing prototypes. After a competitive evaluation, the MAN design was selected in May 1942 due to its superior armor and mechanical reliability. The Panther tank represented a significant advancement in tank design. Its key features included armor. The Panther's frontal armor was 80mm thick and sloped at 55 degrees, providing enhanced protection against enemy fire. The side armor was thinner, at 40 to 50mm, and also sloped. This design reduced the likelihood of penetration by enemy shells and increased the chances of deflecting shots. Armament. The Panther was armed with the KWK-42L/70-75mm gun, which had excellent range, accuracy, and armor-piercing capability. This gun could penetrate the frontal armor of most Allied tanks at typical combat ranges. Secondary armament included two 7.92mm MG-34 machine guns, one mounted coaxially with the main gun and another in the hull. Mobility. Powered by a Maybach HL230P30 V12 petrol engine producing 700 horsepower, the Panther had a top speed of 46 km/h on roads and a range of approximately 200 km. Its torsion bar suspension system provided a smooth ride and good cross-country performance. Crew and ergonomics. The Panther had a 5-man crew consisting of a commander, gunner, loader, driver, and radio operator/hull machine gunner. The layout was designed for operational efficiency, with the turret crew benefiting from a well-designed fighting compartment. Reliability issues. Despite its advanced design, early Panther models suffered from mechanical reliability issues. The complex suspension system, combined with teething problems in the drivetrain and engine, resulted in frequent breakdowns. These issues were gradually addressed through production improvements and field modifications. The Panther tank first saw combat during the Battle of Kursk in July 1943, the largest tank battle in history. Although intended to spearhead the German offensive, the initial deployment was marred by mechanical failures, with many Panthers breaking down before reaching the battlefield. Nevertheless, those that did engage demonstrated their superior firepower and armor protection. As the war progressed, the Panther became a mainstay of German armored units. It was deployed in various theaters, including the Eastern Front, Italy, and Western Europe. Panthers were organized into panzer regiments and battalions, often forming the backbone of German armored divisions. Their performance in battle varied, with experienced crews achieving significant success against Allied armor. The Panther was most extensively used on the Eastern Front, where it faced the full spectrum of Soviet tanks and anti-tank weapons. Its ability to engage and destroy T-34s and IS-2 heavy tanks at long range made it a valuable asset. However, the harsh conditions and logistical challenges of the Eastern Front continued to strain the Panther's mechanical reliability. Following the D-Day landings in June 1944, Panthers were deployed in significant numbers in France. They participated in key battles such as the Battle of Normandy and the Battle of the Bulge. The Panther's thick frontal armor and powerful gun made it a formidable opponent for Allied tanks, including the American M4 Sherman and British Cromwell. However, the Panthers were often outnumbered and suffered from shortages of fuel and spare parts. Italy and other theaters. In Italy, Panthers were used in defensive operations against Allied advances. The challenging terrain and narrow roads of the Italian peninsula limited their effectiveness compared to the more open plains of Eastern Europe. Nonetheless, they were able to delay and inflict significant losses on Allied forces. The production of the Panther tank began in January 1943 and continued until the end of the war, with approximately 6,000 units produced. Despite efforts to increase production rates, the Panther's complexity and the Allied bombing campaign against German industry constrained output. Several variants of the Panther were developed to address specific operational needs and incorporate improvements based on combat experience. Panther D, the initial production version, featuring a drum cupola and no-hull machine gun. Early models suffered from numerous mechanical issues. Panther A, introduced in August 1943, this version incorporated a new commander's cupola, a ball-mounted hull machine gun, and various reliability improvements. Panther G, the most produced variant, introduced in March 1944. It featured a redesigned hull with thicker side armor, improved suspension components, and better protection for the running gear. Burge Panther, an armored recovery vehicle based on the Panther chassis, equipped with a crane and winch for battlefield recovery operations. Panther II, an experimental variant with thicker armor and standardized components to simplify production. Only a few prototypes were built before the war ended. Jag Panther, a tank destroyer variant armed with the powerful 88mm PaK-43 gun, mounted in a casemate superstructure. The Jag Panther combined the Panther's mobility with a gun capable of defeating any Allied tank. The Panther tank had a significant impact on German armored tactics and strategy. Its introduction influenced both the operational doctrine of the Wehrmacht and the development of Allied countermeasures. The Panther was typically employed in conjunction with other tanks and infantry, exploiting its superior firepower and armor to engage enemy tanks at long range. German tactics emphasized the use of Panthers to establish fire superiority and disrupt enemy formations before closing in for the kill. However, the reliance on defensive operations in the later stages of the war limited the opportunities for large-scale armored offensives. The Allies responded to the Panther threat by developing more effective anti-tank weapons and tactics. The introduction of the M36 Jackson tank destroyer, equipped with a 90mm gun, and the British Firefly, an up-gun Sherman with a 17-pounder cannon, were direct responses to the Panther. Additionally, improved tactics, such as coordinated artillery strikes and air support, were employed to neutralize Panther units. On a strategic level, the Panther's effectiveness was hampered by Germany's declining industrial capacity and logistical challenges. Despite its battlefield superiority, the Panther could not be produced in sufficient numbers to turn the tide of the war. Furthermore, the resource-intensive nature of Panther production diverted critical resources from other essential war efforts. The Panther tank left a lasting legacy in the field of armored warfare. Its design principles influenced post-war tank development and the evolution of armored tactics. The Panther's combination of sloped armor, powerful main gun, and mobility set a new standard for tank design. Post-war tanks such as the Soviet T-54, American M48 Patton, and the British Centurion incorporated similar features, emphasizing the balance of firepower, protection, and mobility. The lessons learned from operating the Panther were integrated into the armored doctrines of both NATO and Warsaw Pact forces. The importance of combined arms operations, effective logistics, and crew training were underscored by the Panther's combat performance. The Panther remains a subject of study for military historians and enthusiasts. Its role in key battles and its technical innovations continue to be analyzed, providing valuable insights into the development of armored warfare during World War II. Several Panther tanks have been preserved in museums and private collections around the world. These vehicles serve as tangible reminders of the engineering prowess and the brutal realities of mechanized warfare during the mid-20th century. The Panther tank stands as a testament to the technological advancements and strategic challenges of World War II. While it was not produced in sufficient numbers to alter the outcome of the war, its design and performance had a profound impact on the development of armored vehicles. The Panther's legacy endures in the annals of military history, symbolizing both the zenith of German tank engineering and the complex dynamics of armored warfare. Through its strengths and shortcomings, the Panther tank continues to offer valuable lessons for modern military strategists and historians alike.